Okay, so today we'll fill in the details for this SSIS log table. So this is an identity column. This is the source name that we need to enter. So when you're trying to fill in the details, you should write a insert script. Okay, and we can write it once again. Full stop. Right, insert. And then either returns the values or the values. We don't need to insert this ID. So let's do that. Let's make it proper. This is the false value. So here the false value. So whenever you're trying to insert some value from SSIS package and you're expecting that value should come from outside. When I'm saying outside, it can come from some variable. It can also come from some parameter, which we need to supply from outside. Okay. Then in that case, you should have question mark. That means it is expecting a value from outside. So we have source name first field, and then on the second one also we have something, right? So then again another question mark. So two is done, three question mark, three is done, and we one, two, three, four, five, six, seven. So seven question marks should be there. Three, four, five, six, seven. So we are done with seven question mark. That means we'll expect the values from outside. So instead of writing this, if I'm writing this letter, if there is any change, so I have to change, let's say there is a column name change or the something that I want to remove. So it's better instead of doing this, we should create a store procedure. Okay. So let's do that. Create. So that is it is easy to maintain from outside the frame. You don't need to touch your SSIS package when there is a change required for this particular script. You can change it from you can change it from sorry. That's the SP log insert. I'm saying something. Size. You can create these many variables. Okay. So these are my parameters. You know how to create the store procedure, right? So I don't think that's something I need to explain anything here. So I have to define the data type. So source name is, let's say, and I'm saying 500. Target table name, let's say that is also 500 the time being. Source record count, that should be integer. Target record count, that should be integer. Process state, this thing. State. Okay. Package name, again, this can be n record. Duration, I would say it is integer. Okay, so what we can do instead of using all of this, you can just copy paste. So the earlier query which we have written, that is something also we can use for inserting the values from SSIS package, and from SSIS package, it will expect the values to be provided from outside. Either it is the parameter or the variable, okay? But it's better we should create a store procedure so that we can maintain this outside the frame without touching the SSIS package. So SSIS package will have less maintenance, okay? I'll say as we can. Just a small store procedure we have created, okay? Okay. So by it is the default database is master, that's why it created in the master. So but we should not create anything in master, okay? So let's drop it, then recreate it, then point to the 4. We have created this store procedure, okay? Now we need to call this store procedure in SSIS package, and the values which is required from the parameter that we will supply from SSIS package. Let's go there. So this time what I'm doing, I'll just have a copy of this one, because this is just a demonstration. See, I just did a copy of the existing package and I renamed it as SSIS underscore log. And this time I'm not going to have this transformation. I mean, this DFT, I'll remove it. I just wanted to have only one DFT, only for the demonstration purpose. So instead of removing it, you can also have you have an option for disabling this one. So let's say I disable this one. I don't have anything to do here. So if I'm not doing anything here, so I should remove the truncate statement for the demo one. I wanted to run this one. If you don't want this, just remove it, okay? Let's say you want to keep it here, but for the time being, you don't want to execute it, then you can disable it. Here, the next component should be your execute SQL task. Here, I would say execute SQL task call log sp. So we can use the connection string which we have already created. This time here we need to execute this one. So how we can execute this sp? So we can say exec xp. So you should have a proper name here. Okay. Then how many parameters are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So you should have 7 question mark. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 3, 6, and 7. Okay. So say this. See? And this will not return any value. This is for insert. So this setting is okay. But the thing is, like when we are trying to have 7 parameter, so all 7 parameter needs to be supplied from the parameter mapping. So you need to go here and you need to start adding the components. So we know like the source name is coming from one of the variable, target table name is also coming from one of the variable, but there is nothing for the record count. Okay. So we need to first, so let's continue whichever we have, whichever you don't have, we will start generating those. So if you say add, okay, remove it, add. So what's the data type of this first variable? Source name is nvarchar, okay? So if it is nvarchar, we should first change the data type from long to, if it is nvarchar, what should be the equivalent data type here? It should be nvarchar. You have that option here. So nvarchar, and what's the parameter name? You need to copy the parameter name, SSIS name, come here, put it here. This is something optional. When you are saying -1, that means you're allowing the maximum length which we have provided from the database, or the maximum which is available. If you want to limit the size, you can just put the size here. If it is -1, the maximum it will take. Okay. If you put 100, then 100 it will take. If you take 200, 200 it will take. Okay. For the time being, I know this is 500, so we can also put 500. Sorry. And this is an input parameter. You can have that, define that also. Okay, this is not a return type, or this is not an output parameter. Now, do we have any variable from where we can just pull the value for the source name? Yes, we have a variable which we have already created. So let's come here and see if we can. So these are the system variables. If you scroll down, you'll see the user variables. So we have created 2 path. One is for the demo file 1 and demo file 2. So as of now, we have removed the demo file path 1. So we have demo file path 2 that we are using for this particular flow. So we can just use it. Okay. Next, do we have any variable for target table name? If you have it, then well and good. If you don't have it, then we need to create it, because we need to supply this for this log. Okay. So let's do one thing. You can go to the variables. This variable is not in scope for this particular package, so we can just remove it. We'll create one more variable called var Yeah, see, okay, and this should be string. And what's the table name? Demo 01, Demo 02. This is my table name. So if I'm using a variable for this, if I'll just close it, okay. So here for the earlier, we are trying to use this value directly from this drop down, but here we have an option table name and variable first load. So if you have a variable, you can reuse that variable to pull the value for this target table dynamically. So we can just choose this, which is the variable. This is the variable that we have created, and we kept the table name in this variable. Okay. And go to the mappings. Mappings are same. There is no difference. Hit OK. Okay. That means if you change the variable, the table name will change. So that is tied with this target settings. Now we have a variable for this one, the second one. Let's come here and one more. We know the variable name. Let's come here and choose the variable that is where target table name. And this is nvarchar again. So nvarchar can come right side and you should copy the variable name. Okay. Now I know this is 500. So let's make it 500. This is complete optional, okay? But it's better if you have the value, you can just put in here. So what's the third one? Third one is the record count. But do we have any variable where we can just skip the record count? So we have one option here, two options actually. One option, you can just check the count after loading the data. You can store into a variable. Else, the second thing, we have one transformation which we can also use, which will just give you the variable count. But for that, first thing, we need to create a variable for the record count. Let's go here. Hit OK. I'll say where yeah, see, break. Okay. This is integer, and we are not supplying any value. This should come in runtime. So let's close it. So how it will come in the runtime? So if you come here and there is a transformation called row count. 1 second. But remember, we have three types of transformation in SSIS. One is the semi-blocking transformation, one is blocking transformation, and another last one is the non-blocking transformation. So the blocking transformation is very crucial. Likewise, the sort transformation, the aggregate transformation, those are blocking transformations. So which will wait for the complete arrival of the data, then we will start performing. Because let's say you're doing some aggregation, and if you start aggregating the data in between, you will not get the right output, right? You should wait for the complete data set to be arrived. Then you can start applying the aggregation. Then you will get the data. So that is the costly transformation in SSIS. So we have some semi-blocking transformation, likewise the lookup and others. So here it is not waiting for the complete data set to be arrived. Likewise, it will receive the data. As soon as it receives the data, it start operating and it will give you the output. Okay. There are some non-blocking transformations which will not block anything like the derived column. If this function is to derive in one value as per the value which will receive. If it is received the value for the 10 records, it will start converting all 10 records one after another. So that's the non-blocking transformation. So this is an interview question again. Okay. So here, when I discuss this because row count isn't blocking transformation, okay, but it will give you the result of the data which we are trying to flow into the output. Okay, so what's total record which is flowing from this flow? This is the pipeline. We are trying to link it here. So if you link here and you link here, so whichever data it is flowing through this particular flow will be captured here and you'll get a complete row count. The same row count you can store into a variable. This time you might have observed it is not showing all the variables. It is only showing the variable which is integer. Okay, so that's the good feature of SSIS that you can start using it. And this is something that we have created for capturing the row count. So we have done it. So let's go back here again. So we have one more. So that's something we need to put in. Target count. This is integer. Either you can put it long or numeric. Anything is fine. Let's say numeric. I'll go back and just copy. Let it be. Okay. Now the next thing is like source record count and target record count. This is something which is flowing to the source, okay? But what if there is any loss in between and there are some data which is not loaded in the target? So in that particular case, what we can do, sorry, my bad actually, I believe this is something I have created as a target record count, right? So this should not be the case. This should be source, sorry. Source record count. And we should also have one more, which is DRG count. And this is again integer. Let's do one thing. See, one thing what I did here, I changed the variable name, okay? I'll come here. It is still pointing to this DRG record count because we have created a similar variable. So you need to change it. Okay. So we change it. If we come here also, let's see. We have not given anything that is already removed. So let's do one thing. We have to provide the source count name first. Source record count. It should be numeric. And the variable is okay. Let's do one thing. We have already created another variable. We'll assign the values later, but let's complete the mapping as we are here. So you need to come here. Target record count. Then this should be numeric. You need to copy this. Okay. You did that. So how we can get the target record count? What we can do, we can just have another execute SQL task after this, and we can write a count for the queries and write a query which will give you the count. So I'll say execute SQL task get ELZ and anything meaningful name that you can give here. So here we should write a query to get the count. The first thing we need to link the connection string. Come here. This is the table that we know very well. Instead of star, I'll say count the alias you can give it here.